Third down 1 with 1:37 remaining till halftime. There's Tatupu in motion. Van Egan gets the first down. Both clubs have all 3 of their first half timeouts remaining. Patriots don't use one. They break a huddle. No huddle, as a matter of fact, and line up quickly. 3 wide receivers are in for the Pats. It's beyond Stanley Morgan, who was open, and Kavanaugh missed it.
In this 2-minute drill now, you'll see the New England Patriots constantly running patterns to the sidelines with 3 timeouts. You don't scratch for inches, you try to save seconds. And of course, the New York Jets on the other side, if they do get a chance to make a tackle, keep the guy in bounds, make them hurry up, and don't let anybody get behind you. In the 2-minute offense, everybody says, how in the world can they gain so many yards? Well, the Jet defensive backs are only protecting the yardage behind them. They don't care what happens in front of them. They hope the clock gets the New England Patriots before they get in the end zone.
Kavanaugh in some trouble and can't get out of it. That's the 3rd sack exchange connection of the day, with Ben Rudolph playing in place of the injured Marty Lyons there. And Bob Crable from his linebacker spot as well. There's Crable celebrating.
Interesting, the Jets go to the blitz, something they don't generally do. They leave it up to the 4-men up front. But you see, he's in trouble at the outset. He's got people running him out of the pocket. There's no chance for him to even set up and throw the ball.
They go with the draw play. Under a minute, Collins breaks a tackle. And Collins out to about the 24-yard line. It's going to be 4th down, and they'll have to kick. Now let's see if the Jets call a timeout, and they do. Collins' numbers so far, 9 carries, 30 yards, a far cry from his outstanding first half in Baltimore last Sunday. Now, Walt Michaels, by reputation, is very conservative. You'll recall his strategy in the overtime game against the Dolphins last year in Miami. He went for a field goal when he might have tried for a touchdown in the playoff game against Buffalo. What do you think he'll do here? With 40 seconds remaining, he's got a couple of timeouts left. Is he likely to sit on this 10-0, or is he going to go up top and try and put more on the board?
I think they got to go for as many points as they possibly can. There's no reason to be conservative with they're going to get the ball with probably 30 seconds left. That's time enough to throw a couple of passes. Leahy can kick it from a pretty good distance.
Leahy's longest is 49 yards.
The most important thing before they get the ball back is that if you're the special teams coach of the Jets, you say, give me a good return. You want Bruce Harper to get the ball back about 10 or 15 yards here. Flag down.
Fair catch at the 34.
I think that's going to be an illegal chuck on the New York Jets.
For now, it's a 43-yard punt for Camarillo, but let's see if they bring it back.
Holding Jets. Now, is it before the punt or after the punt?
A 30-yard field goal by Leahy and an 8-yard scramble run by Richard Todd have the Jets in front 10-0. All the scoring here in the second quarter.
After the punt. Well, now I'm not so sure you throw it up.
Holding number 21 of the receivers after the ball was kicked. 1st and 10.
Kirk Springs was holding. Now they're back at the 24-yard line with 33 seconds and 2 timeouts remaining.
The Jets do appear to have their passing set in there. Durking, they have Harper, and they've got great speed on the outside with Walker and with Lamb Jones.
Todd is 8 for 11 in the first half, good for 62 yards, and this one is thrown away over the head of Harper. The fans want intentional grounding, but Harper, A, was close enough to it, and B, and most important, Todd was in no immediate danger of being sacked. And the rule is you have to throw it away to avoid loss of yardage. That's the key distinction.
And 3, none of the fans here in Schaefer Stadium have had anything to cheer about, so why not boo?
Excellent observation.
Seems a viable alternative at this point, down 10-0.
Trump hanging around Cincinnati, doing your radio show. How solid are the Bengals, as one example, in the strike situation?
Don't believe they're very solid. New England Patriots, extremely solid for the Players Association.
Scott Durking carried. We're inside 20 seconds, and the clock is moving. And the Jets showing no particular eagerness to stop it.
One last Hail Mary. Nope.
Not even that. Bruce Harper. This will be the last play of the first half, which will end with the Jets in front 10-0 with Lester Williams wrapping Bruce Harper up. So the Bengals are not solid, but the Pats are.
Very much so. I believe going back to the days of Randy Vataha, he was one of the real kingpins of the Players Association. Hopefully we'll have football next weekend.
How do you assess it around the league if you had to break it down?
Well, one of the problems is you have so many players who don't know which way to go, who will go with the majority just to keep team unity, whatever the decision is.
Can management put on games if they strike?
I think they'll try.
And we'll come back to New England with the Jets in front 10-0 at halftime right after this. We come back to Foxborough. Bob Costas along with Bob Trumpy with the Jets in front 10-0 at halftime. And while we have an opportunity before we go to Len Berman and the rest of the crew at NFL 82, on the pregame show you had some pretty harsh words about Ed Garvey and the Players Association.
Well, having gone through a strike with the Players Association in 70 and 74, I think the Players Association has been terribly, terribly misled. It is my opinion that Ed Garvey is trying to become the most powerful labor leader there is in this country. And I don't think he has any intention whatsoever of trying to get the best deal possible for the players. If he can be in control of 1,500 football players with an average salary of about $200,000 each, he is going to be somebody to deal with. And that to me is unforgivable. Plus, I don't like the attitude of people like Gene Upshaw saying that, one, the 55% of gross is written in stone, and then after they get off that, 50% of the TV revenues is now non-negotiable. I don't think you go into any situation dealing with $2.1 billion to split up and say nothing is negotiable. You've got to be open and give management a chance to put money on the table. I didn't like management's proposal. I thought it was a real buy-off, but at the same time, I think they are willing to pay the players an awful lot of money. Sit down and negotiate. Hammer it out. Try to figure out what the dollar amount is. Split it up and let's play football.
Right now, let's go back to New York. NFL 82. Well, evidently, we're going to take a look at a touchdown play in the first half. Richard Todd running in from 8 yards out. He was looking for Jerome Barkham, as you said, Trump, but ultimately, he wound up scrambling in and just barely made it to the corner.
Good choice. Option for the quarterback here, and Todd can still run the ball. There were a few years ago, he ran the ball consistently. One of the best running quarterbacks there was in the NFL. 7 points for the Jets.
And a 10-0 halftime lead. Len Berman, Mike Adamle, Pete Axtell, and all the rest of the guys are standing by at NFL 82 in New York. And let's check in with them.
Game is not a high-scoring shootout, low scoring thus far at halftime. And Kansas City is doing it to San Diego, although interesting, Kansas City has still not scored an offensive touchdown so far this season. Okay, let's check out all the scores and highlights as we have them right now in week number 2. The Raiders are leading in Atlanta. 10-7 is our score there. And at Fulton County Stadium, you know, you have two teams, both 1-0. Look at this play in the end zone. Jim Plunkett escapes. He's not sacked. No 2 points. Just bloops it out of there. Incomplete for Jim Plunkett. Marcus Allen continuing to do it all. Here, Plunkett at quarterback. Back to Marcus Allen. Look at this. Allen throwing a pass. He wants the Rookie of the Year honors right now. 47 yards to Cliff Branch. That sets up the next play. Plunkett throws to whom else? Marcus Allen again. 7-0 as the Raiders took the lead. Marcus Allen today rushing 7 tries, 48 yards. But Atlanta came back and tied it up. Short touchdown run, William Andrews. That tied it at 7. A Chris Barr 35-yard field goal gave the Raiders the 10-7 lead in the second quarter. The game in Foxborough this afternoon was scoreless after 1, but the Jets now at halftime leading the Patriots 10-0. As you know, the sack exchange was shut out last week in their opener against the Dolphins. Not today. Sack number 1 of the season. Do it any way you can. Joe Klecko does it, grabbing Kavanaugh's jersey and pulling him down. The Jets with a handful of sacks so far in the first half. Now Kavanaugh overthrowing. And here goes Darrell Ray on the interception. 43 yards, Darrell Ray with the pickoff try. That set up the Leahy field goal. That made it 3-0 at the time. Good run by Darrell Ray later in the second quarter. Richard Todd, 8-yard run, put the Jets up 10-0. That's where they are right now. And at Bush Memorial Stadium, full house there. That's our score, Cowboys and St. Louis. Cowboys got a 29-yard touchdown pass to Danny White to Doug Cosby, who'd replace Billy Joe Dupre. Neil Lomax, 4 yards to Pat Tilley on a pass, tied it up there in the second quarter. Dallas 7, St. Louis 7. Now let's go to Mike Adamle. Some more scores and highlights. Michael?
Lynn, anytime Ken Anderson and Terry Bradshaw get together, you expect offensive fireworks, but that has not been the case today in Three Rivers Stadium. Last week, Kenny Anderson threw for 354 yards, but he has been unable to get on track today. 2 touchdowns also a week ago, but it has been all Pittsburgh so far. Bradshaw got the Steelers on the board first with this 11-yard touchdown pass to John Stallworth, 7-0. Since he drove to the 10 later in the quarter, but this pass of Anderson was intercepted by Donnie Shell. It is now Steelers 10, Bengals 3 after a field goal by Breach and a field goal by Gary Anderson. The Philadelphia Eagles have not beaten the Cleveland Browns in Municipal Stadium since 1960, back in the days of their championship. Norm Van Brocklin, Pete Retzlaff, and they are trailing the Browns today by the score of 7-3. Brian Sipe has a touchdown pass, 19 yards to Ozzie Newsome in that game. San Diego versus Kansas City, the opener in Arrowhead Stadium. That game is 13-0 Chiefs. The Chiefs have not beat the Chargers in 6 tries, as you see Marv Levy on the sidelines getting his Chiefs ready. And here's the big play of the game. Gary Green blocks this Murray Buford punt. It is scooped up by Calvin Daniels. He dribbles the ball into the end zone. And finally, Dave Klug recovers. The Chiefs on top of the Chargers, 13-0. Nick Lowry has added a pair of field goals in that game. Mike Ditka's debut as a coach for the Bears was spoiled last week in Detroit, and he is on the losing end of a 7-0 score in Soldiers Field. Kenny Stabler, the only quarterback the Steelers or the Saints have, is still the starter, and he has a 10-yard touchdown pass to Larry Hardy in that game.
Okay, Michael, we'll have some more scores and highlights coming up. Also some thoughts from Pete Axthelm as we continue on Sunday number 2 of the NFL 82 season. We'll be right back.
For the New England Patriots really works against them. The problem that New England now has is being down 10 points, they got to throw the football. And when you throw the football and give the New York Sack Exchange an excuse to really tee off, you're putting an awful lot of pressure on your offensive line. So it seems to me that they're going to have to be very selective as to what they do. The scoring, the only touchdown in the first half, a run-pass option by Richard Todd rolling away from his throwing arm. You'll see once he gets outside the linebacker, there's nobody there. I believe his intended receiver was Jerome Barkham. He sees him covered, tucks it under, puts it on the outside arm. 7 yards and a touchdown, and that made it 10-0 New York Jets.
Well, now with the Sack Exchange ready to tee off, we'll see if New England can mount any kind of offense in the second half. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station. New England to receive to start the second half. Now, last week at Shea Stadium, Miami used a couple of ploys to foil the Sack Exchange. Short drops by David Woodley. They went into a shotgun. Woodley with some shovel handoffs out of that shotgun. They ran some bootlegs. Is that something that New England might take a page from Shula's book and copy today?
You can't do it unless you practice it all week. And from the conservative nature of the New England Patriots offense, I don't think they have it in there. So they're going to have to go with what they've got on the game plan.
Ricky Smith from about the goal line on the Leahy kick doesn't get to the 20.
Bob, to start this second half with the 3 sacks by the New York Jets, the New England Patriots have a grand total of 2 net yards passing.
The only change in either starting lineup, offense or defense, as we move into the second half is that Roland James is still not available for duty after being kicked in the head while sacking Richard Todd in the first half. And Paul Dombrowski is going to open when the Jets have the ball. He'll open at strong safety in the second half for New England. And the word we get now is that Roland James will not return at all today. Trailing 10-0, Kavanaugh brings the Pats up. This is a short drop for him and a toss over the middle incomplete, and Kavanaugh simply missed Collins. Let's look at the Jet defense once more. One new member of the Sack Exchange, Marty Lyons at right tackle, fractured thumb, Ben Rudolph in his place, and it looks like they haven't missed a beat with Lyons out. Crable is in for the injured Buttle with Blinka and Mel completing the linebacker core. Jackson and Holmes the corners. Schroy and Ray the safeties, and Ray with that interception and long return instrumental in giving the Jets the 10-0 first half lead.
His 14th in 3 years of play in the NFL.
Kavanaugh with the play fake to Collins. And the completion out to the 40-yard line. A diving catch by Stanley Morgan.
20 yards on the pass and catch, and Abdul Salam was right in Kavanaugh's face, and it kind of affected his follow-through, and you'll see this ball kind of die into the ground. Watch 74. Kind of affects it. You see the ball going down. Morgan, a great job coming back, and the point of that ball was towards the ground, but that's a great reception. First down. Now that's good, patient passing offense. That's not throwing it up for grabs, as I've seen New England do for so many years.
They spot the ball at the 38-yard line, where it's 1st and 10 New England. Tony Collins carrying. The second-year man from East Carolina is across the 40 to the 41 for a first down gain of 3 before Lance Mell makes the tackle.
Now this 2nd and 8 situation is exactly what the New York Jets want. Now they can really go after the quarterback, kind of disregard the pass. Up 10 points, and with 2nd down and 8, you can go with that good pass rush up front.
You meant to say disregard the run, right?
Yeah. What did I say?
Disregard the pass.
I stand corrected. Disregard the run.
Collins is 10 for 33 in his rushing attempts today after gaining 137 last week. Kavanaugh throws it as far as he can for Morgan, and it's broken up. Morgan almost pulled it off there, coming back toward the ball, and it looked for a while as if the defensive back lost track of it.
Well, watch Joe Klecko at the line of scrimmage, and he gets inside the offensive tackle, but Shelby Jordan, the other tackle, helps out Brian Holloway, and you see Kavanaugh throw it almost full trajectory, but still underthrown.
Morgan was almost able to come back and turn Ken Schroy around and make the catch. 3rd and 7 from the 41, 13-15 to play.
Now those defensive linemen getting their sprinter stance, Bob, head straight upfield to the quarterback.
Give the ball to Collins. It looks like he's going to be short by about a yard. Some of the fans here in Foxborough disapprove of that 3rd down call.
Well, I think they want him to go for it on 4th down. Wrong choice. The New England Patriots are still in this ball game, and if they can get decent field position with a good punt here from Camarillo, who has kicked the ball very well in the first half, they'll at least have the Jets back there 1st and 80, or hopefully 1st and more than 80.
The last time Camarillo kicked, it was good for 76 yards. Harper is standing at the 10. Camarillo is going to meet this across his 35. Dwight Wheeler snaps it, and there's a whistle. It may have taken too long. That probably doesn't hurt them too badly. Gives Camarillo a little bit more room to kick it. I'm
not sure that that was the plan, though.
Perhaps not the plan, but maybe the net effect.
There's Ron Meyer down 10-0. And Rich Camarillo, one of the positive things about the New England Patriots and their 2-14 season last year, that kid, it's been a lot of years since anybody has averaged 40 yards a kick for a season. He did last year, and today, look at that. Certainly bolstered by that 76-yard punt.
After the walk-off of 5, Camarillo stands inside his 30. Under very little pressure, gets off a relatively short kick, but it takes a New England bounce, and Harper has trouble with it and has to simply fall on it to prevent the turnover at the 17-yard line. A 41-yard Camarillo punt, and with 12 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter, the Jets have the ball and the 10-point lead. Punt. Mickey Schuler is in now, lining up on the right side.
2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, 1 running back.
Schuler comes out in motion. Todd to throw to that lone running back, Freeman McNeil. McNeil makes a nice move and is very close to a first down across the 25. This 1982 National Football League game is brought to you by the new Chrysler Corporation. Chrysler has the cars, the quality, and the prices America needs. By Visa, the most widely recognized name in the world for travel, shopping, and cash. And by Kentucky Fried Chicken. We do chicken right. They pick up 9 on the pass and run, 2nd and 1 from the 26.
They're going to measure. Nice little play. Pull the center out, Joe Fields. He blocks on the linebacker. And Freeman McNeil just on a swing pass.
Short by a foot, maybe a foot and a half.
You were right.
For those who like to note such milestones, that was the 1,000th completion of Richard Todd's NFL career. McNeil and Augustiniak open as the backs. Walker, Jones, and Bargum the receivers. Ward, Waldemore, Fields, Alexander, and Powell on the right side of that offensive line. Alexander and Powell really coming in for praise of late from Coach Walt Michaels. Powell has long been established as one of the NFL's best. Alexander working toward that designation. Both these teams without a veteran offensive lineman. Bill Lenkaitis, the veteran center, gone after 14 years for New England. Randy Rasmussen, the veteran guard, after 15 years, retiring this season for the Jets. Freeman McNeil carried on second down, and he got the first that they needed.
Once again, Kenneth Sims against the run. Good job by Marvin Powell. Gets to him quickly and really walls him off. Excellent job by Marvin Powell. That is a star. McNeil now 10 carries, 63 yards.
Could be on his way to his second straight 100-yard game.
Last week against Baltimore in heat and humidity, Kenneth Sims played every down defensively. The only defensive lineman to do that.
Lester Williams, playing alongside of him, had to leave the game when he became dehydrated. McNeil makes the catch, sidesteps one tackler, a flag goes down, and McNeil does two at the 30. Julius Adams gets credit for the tackle.
I think we're going to have Stan Waldemore pushing Julius Adams in the back. And another penalty.
The Jets, a notoriously slow starting team. They've lost 8 of their last 9 season openers, dating back the last 3 years. Prior to this one, 0-2, 0-5, 0-3 at season start.
Last year, they were, what, 10, 2-1, and the hottest team in professional football over the last 13 weeks of the season.
Still waiting to sort all this out, and now Red Cashin walks it off against the Jets back to the 20-yard line.
Illegal use of the hands during the run. Number 70 of the offense, still first down.
Tough job. Big offensive lineman out there in Baltimore trying to get on Julius Adams. And Adams, of course, out there to try to stop the little swing pass, just pushed him in the back, I believe.
We played just over 4 minutes in the third quarter. The Jets own the 10-0 lead. First and 20 from their 20. Todd under pressure, sidesteps the rush and overthrows Harper.
And he is flat lucky. There is no way he should have thrown that pass. Feet were not set. I don't believe he caught sight of Don Blackman at all. He was very lucky that ball was not intercepted. That's the kind of mistake, and you see the consternation there on Richard Todd's face. I think now he knew he shouldn't have thrown that.
Todd reduced his interceptions to 13 last year after throwing 30 interceptions in 1980. Completed 56% of his passes, and 25 of them went for touchdowns. Joe Walton got a lot of that credit.
One of the things that Richard Todd, I think, must learn is that there's nothing wrong with taking a sack. You don't want to give the ball up to your opponent in that situation. You almost did there.
Second down 20, and they keep it on the ground with Augustiniak for about 6. Let's take a look at the Patriot defense here early in the third quarter. Sims, Williams, and Adams. As I mentioned, Adams, the only veteran in their entire defensive line crew, and there's the linebacking group.
And you know a name we haven't mentioned much today, Steve Nelson, the veteran back there. The rookies have done an excellent job. Dombrowski replacing James, out with a, we would suppose, a slight concussion. Got his bell rung.
Some familiar names on their defensive line. Tony McGee traded to Washington. Richard Bishop waived. Sugar Bear Hamilton retired. 4-man front now for New England in the passing situation. Third down 14. Todd firing right on the money for a Jet first down. Wesley Walker makes the catch at the 46-yard line of New York. Well, earlier we were told that Richard Todd had already completed his 1,000th pass in the NFL, so give or take a couple, that was number 1,000.
Excellent protection. Watch Todd sit back there. Watch the receiver. He has a bad habit, though, I wish he'd break, and that's patting the ball before he throws it. Watch him pat the ball. bam, right there. Then he throws it. I saw Bill Walsh spend 2 years with Ken Anderson to break him of that habit. When he pats that ball, that says, aha, he's open. And a split second later, he throws it. He should throw it the minute he sees the man open.
Wesley Walker shaken up after the reception, which was good for 21 yards. From the Jet 46, Freeman McNeil vaults across midfield before Steve Nelson grabs him. Julius Adams also there. The Jets lead it 10-0, and they have dominated this ball game, in truth, perhaps even more so than the score indicates. Walker looked like he took a pop in the lower back, and now there's a player down on the field after this last play.
A Patriot player. 22, Keith Lee.
So a timeout while they tend to lead. 9:19 to play third quarter. Still 10-0 Jets. New York ball, and we're coming right back. It's proved to be a hazardous position for the Patriots today. First, Roland James kicked in the head, out for the day. Dombrowski replaced him briefly, didn't get hurt, but then he was removed in favor of Keith Lee. Lee has now been helped to the sideline, and Fred Marion, a rookie from Miami of Florida, wearing number 31, has come into the lineup.
And Wesley Walker appears to have got a bruise on the hip.
9 minutes to play third quarter. Second down, 6. Todd out of the backfield to McNeil. Freeman McNeil has a first down, and he's into Patriot territory.
Good job by Richard Todd there, looking away from the primary receiver, scanning the offensive set, knowing where his receivers are, and that's a point that very few people talk about. You not only have to look around, you have to know what every player out there as a receiver is doing. Good time. He waits until McNeil is wide open, and then let them do it, instead of throwing it up for grabs, which I think in previous years Richard might have done.
Fred Marion had a one-play stint. He departs. Paul Dombrowski is back in, number 47 at the strong safety spot. Lamb Jones in motion. Augustiniak with the carry. Good first down yardage. Let's check the scoreboard now, Trump. L.A. Raiders 17, Atlanta Falcons 7 at Atlanta. The Raiders open with 3 on the road. They won the first one at San Fran. Dallas and St. Louis Cardinals giving them a tough time at Busch Stadium in the third, tied at 7.
Always a tough game.
Pittsburgh leads in the third over the Bengals 10-3. Cleveland's lead on the Eagles is 7-3 in the third. Eagles coming off a heartbreaker in overtime, which they lost against Washington last week. Kansas City leads the Chargers in shutting them out. It's not just the lead, it's the shutout that's most surprising in the third quarter at Arrowhead.
Yeah, to think that the San Diego offense hadn't scored any points. New Orleans over Chicago 7-0. Ken Stabler, the Saints' only quarterback.
What happens if he goes down?
Guido Merkins takes over.
No problem at all. The word on Keith Lee, an injury to his left ankle. How serious, we don't know. They're checking him now. 7 minutes and 15 seconds to play third quarter. The Jets have a first down at the 33-yard line of the Patriots. There's Keith Lee. Considering the offense that Ron Meyer has gone with in the first 2 Sundays of the season and the presence of the sack exchange, if they go down 17-0, they are in deep, deep trouble.
You got it.
They show him a little of this, a little of that, and it winds up a pass to Augustiniak for good yardage. Augustiniak down to the 18-yard line. It's a Jet first down.
Bob, coming into this ball game, 15 yards on the catch there by Augustiniak. There was a big question mark with Augustiniak as we watch Steve Nelson in pursuit. He's the middle linebacker with experience. Augustiniak last year, gutty kid, broke a rib twice in the season, and then really had problems, spent a lot of time in the hospital, and then suddenly in the offseason, preseason, didn't play well. A big plus for the Jets today.
It was the game here where Augustiniak broke a rib and it punctured his lung.
Yes.
And not just his football future, but his overall health was in doubt for a while. On first down, the inside handoff is to McNeil, and Freeman McNeil pick his way through across the 10-yard line and down to the 6. A 12-yard gain for McNeil. Pete Johnson has scored from a yard out, and the game is tied at 10 at Three Rivers in the third. Steelers and Bengals.
Jets have it going their way today. They are controlling the line of scrimmage. You saw the underneath handoff Richard Todd, 84 yards. Now Freeman McNeil, the underneath handoff to McNeil, and they just blew the defensive end out. He ran right up inside. Good job.
And the way he runs with the ball, the way he kind of stutter steps and glides from side to side.
Great acceleration, and that's something that no coach can teach a player. You either have it or you don't.
First and goal from the 6. Augustiniak bowls up the middle and carries people into the end zone.
My goodness. Right over the nose, man. Lester Williams, we began the game having an awful lot of compliments to Mr. Williams, but Joe Fields, all-pro center, back at center after playing guard last week, did an excellent job there. Watch the bow in the defensive line of scrimmage. You can't really see it, but you can see he's almost untouched 3 yards down the field. And then at 225 pounds with Wysoon on his back, he's into the end zone. Extra point good. 17-0.
Augustiniak just carries Clayton Wysoon across. Wysoon weighs 218, so Augustiniak has him by a few pounds and says, no, I'm not stopping here. I'm taking it across. And the Jets have a 17-0 lead. The Jets had the ball for just over 7 minutes. 12 plays took them 83 yards. So their last 2 drives, just before the end of the half, 80, now 83, a 17-0 lead. Leahy's kickoff carries to the 2, where Ricky Smith takes it. And Smith is gone. Unless Leahy can tackle him, Smith is gone. 98 yards when it's over. What the Patriot offense couldn't do against the Jets, their special team did. 98 yards for Ricky Smith.
Bob, astoundingly, I mean, he takes one, bam, he's through. There's nobody left to tackle him. That's it. I mean, all the Jet defenders seem to be within 4 or 5 yards. And, man, did he come through there.
Now Noble Rexford Robinson for the point after, with John Smith on the injured reserve list. Robinson connects. The Patriots get the touchdown back in short order. Happy day for the rookie, Ricky Smith. They're back within 10, 4:57 to play in the third. Still glowing over the 98-yard touchdown run. Ricky Smith goes right back out to play the other side. He'll cover on this kick by the Pats.
No respect whatsoever. None by the New England Patriots. 17
seconds of playing time separated the Augustiniak touchdown from the Ricky Smith jaunt of 98. It may seem like a standoff, but for momentum purposes, it's a plus for New England.
Absolutely.
Harper doesn't get to the 25. Fred Marion, number 31, makes the tackle. There's Rex Robinson, who replaced John Smith. It's interesting that the 3 greatest field goal accuracy kickers in NFL history, Tony Frisch, Efren Herrera, and John Smith. Frisch and Herrera waived this year, and Smith on injured reserve. There's a more insecure position than kicker. I don't know what it is.
Head coach.
I'd say I think the head coach is more secure than the kicker. He usually has a longer contract. Suddenly the Foxborough crowd is alive. 4:48 remaining third quarter. Dwayne Crutchfield, with his first carry in the 3rd-round draft choice from Iowa State, is wrapped up by Steve Nelson after getting maybe 5 yards. Next Saturday, NBC Sports proudly presents the Caesars Palace Grand Prix. It's the finale of the Formula One auto racing season, with the 1982 World Driving Championship at stake. 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and then we'll delay broadcast it at 4 p.m. Pacific Time for those of you on the West Coast. Next week on NBC. 2nd down 5 from the 28. Important for the Jets here to put something together to prevent the Patriots from getting it right back and increasing that momentum and that psychological edge.
Yeah, Bob, one of the problems is when you have an offense who's put 17 points on the board, you're standing on the sideline, you say, well, we got them now. They'll never score points in our defense. You go out there to cover a kickoff, and And you can't really tell until you watch the films who is at fault, but you have to admire the New England Patriots for not giving up, going out there in the special teams and trying to get it done. Walt Michaels is certainly going to be yelling and screaming at that kickoff team. There's no way that should happen. I mean, in 2 strides, he was through the entire defense and on his way to a 98-yard kickoff return.
Ron Meyer coached at Nevada, Las Vegas the last 6 years at SMU. Placing Ron Earhart as the head coach here after a 2-14 disaster for the Patriots. The Patriots have 21 players on their present roster who are either rookies or first-year players.
I don't believe he kept any of the coaches from the previous staff, did he?
No, he did not. There are 2 footballs on the field. They are measuring the position of one of them. As we pause briefly for station identification on the NBC television network.
This is WNBC-TV, New York.
Bob Costas and Bob Trumpy, 3rd down, less than a yard. The ball at the 32-yard line. 3 minutes and 38 seconds to play. 3rd quarter. Jets lead the Pats 17-7. Tight formation, strong right for New York. Sneak by Todd. He's got the first down.
The Jet offensive line has done an outstanding job this entire day, beating up on that nose man, Lester Williams. You'll see Joe Fields shoulder to shoulder. Offensive guard helps Waldemore. Todd just puts his head down. That's a good escort for a first down.
The Jet backs right now are Freeman McNeil and Dwayne Crutchfield in tandem, and that might be the backfield of the future at Shea Stadium.
Crutchfield, a 3rd-round pick out of Iowa State. He is from the Cincinnati area, known very well.
What a physical specimen, and even 6 feet, 235 pounds. Todd wants to throw on first down and has lots of time to do it. Well, it's off the hands of the intended receiver, Johnny Lamb Jones. Would have been a difficult reception to make because he had to twist himself around.
Any ball thrown behind a receiver is almost impossible to catch. You can't stop your momentum good enough. And I think what Richard Todd is telling Lamb Jones to do is go straight down and stop. But then quarterbacks always do that to receivers. If you're here, you should have been there. If you're there, you should have been here. Quarterbacks are that way.
Kenneth Sims goes out. Ron Spears and Dennis Owens come in on a 4-man front, so that indicates that Ron Meyer right now doesn't consider Sims one of his better pass rushers. McNeil carries, and there's the loss. A loss of 3. George Crump, 91. Don Blackman, 55, make the tackle.
Bob, I think Ron Myers is just giving his defensive lineman a little bit of a rest. You see here, this is a kind of a draw, but New England is right there. 55, Blackman. Crump, who must be a tough guy to go through life with that sort of name.
George Crump.
George Crump. You got to be tough.
So you think Ron Meyer is not showing a lack of confidence in Sims as a pass rusher, just giving him a breather?
I believe so. Last week he played every defensive down.
3rd and 13 from the 30. Todd under the gun, and it's incomplete. They'll have to kick. And this is the loudest we've heard it all day at Schaefer Stadium.
Well, the fans have had very little to celebrate here so far.
Watch Larry McGrew put some pressure on here.
Comes from the outside. Total blitz. You see Blackman also. And Todd gets nailed.
Ramsey to kick. Ricky Smith, who ran a kickoff back 98 the last time he touched the ball, fields it at the 26.
Set up good.
He got outside, but they corral him at the 38. Give Ramsey credit for a 44-yard punt. 1:46 remaining in quarter number 3. Ramsey credit for a 44-yard punt. 1:46 remaining in quarter number 3. On the Patriots sideline, among the reasons that Ron Meyer selected Cavanaugh as his starter over Grogan, he feels that Cavanaugh has a more effervescent personality, and some of that might rub off in terms of enthusiasm in the huddle.
Oh, yes, Steve. Pittsburgh now up 7 points on Cincinnati and Free River 17-10. I asked Steve how he felt. He said, well rested.
He's ready if they call on him, but Meyer also has said that barring an emergency, he does not want to go with the quick hook and destroy Kavanaugh's confidence. Robert Weathers makes the catch.
For no gain.
Kavanaugh now has completed 6 of 13 for 65 yards. Last week, he completed 7 of 16 and had a couple of touchdowns against the Colts. Wesley Walker has a bruised lower back and no word on whether he will return, if at all. A minute 18 remains in the third quarter. The Jets lead it 17-7. Second and 10 from the 38.
Uh-oh.
You called it.
Right to him. Lance Mel.
Lance Mel picks it off. It was intended for Stanley Morgan, but Mel just stepped right in front, takes it, and what momentum New England might have had going for them is snapped.
Poor choice by Matt Kavanaugh, and I believe he knows it. There is no way that Morgan is going to be open in this situation. Plus, he appears to have pretty good time to throw. Mel, one of the most underrated linebackers there is in the game. Walt Michaels and Joe Gardy have said when you get the films back, you don't realize Mel was out there during the game, but he very seldom makes a mistake.
Now Freeman McNeil carries. And he slips through and gets very nearly 10 yards on first down.
Sims back in there at defensive end for the New England Patriots. Ran the ball right inside of it. And once again, that underneath handoff by Richard Todd.
Freeman McNeil has got to be closing in on 100 yards. Sims departs and Spears comes in to replace him. And there it is, 90 yards for McNeil on 15 carries.
Well, if they keep him healthy for 16 games, he will be the first Jet running back since John Riggins to gain 1,000 yards in my estimation. Gifted athlete, good blocker, great receiver. That burst, plus he's slippery.
Here he is. He has the first down. He juggles the ball, but it's out of bounds, and he slaps it just to make sure.
He's mad and tired.
He really wasn't going to go much further. He was about to be tackled anyway, so the fumble didn't cost him very much yardage.
Yeah, but didn't he have a problem last year of coughing up the football?
A little bit, yep.
Crutchfield, a good block up here in front of him, but you see Waldemore, you see Alexander out in front, and that thing just squirts out. It might be that his jersey is wet from the perspiration. When you hold it against your side, there's very little friction there, and the ball thing will just snap right out.
He thought he was going to turn the corner, but Sanford was right there waiting for him. They get the first down with 10 seconds to play in this third quarter. The ball is spotted at the 24 of New England.
Steve Nelson, I believe, has a little problem with his shoulder pad. One of the referees out helping him there.
McNeil now has 99 yards on 16 carries. Cincinnati has scored again in the fourth quarter at Three Rivers, and they've tied the Steelers 17-17. Bruce Harper carries. And Harper to the 16-yard line for a gain of 8 on what will be the last play of the third quarter. Clayton Weissoon made the tackle.
Bob, great block by Dwayne Crutchfield up in front of Bruce Harper. You'll watch this lead block. You'll see Crutchfield come flying through there. He parks Don Blackman. Look at that. And Bruce Harper up there for a good game.
And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station. We're talking domination here, Trump.
You got that right. And the New England Patriots had 1 first down in the second quarter and 1 first down in the third quarter. And the game isn't as close as the score indicates.
Ricky
21-5 now.
Ricky Smith's 98-yard touchdown run with a kickoff is really the only thing that has the Patriots even approaching a respectable situation. Now here comes the reverse to Lamb Jones. Todd looking to block in front of him, but can't find anybody to collide with, which is probably just as well.
Discretion. He didn't want to take on that big defensive lineman, so he just kind of stood there. Watch Todd. He hands it off, or pitches it to Freeman McNeil, who hands it to Lamb Jones. And you'll see Richard Todd just try to stay up on your feet. Don Blackman almost makes the tackle. What was it, 8-yard gain? Good enough for a first down.
Ball is spotted at the 14-yard line. Pete Johnson scored again. He had a 1-yard run earlier, this time a 9-yard gallop, ties it at 17 in the 4th at Pittsburgh. Lamb Jones out, Derek Gaffney in. Jerome Barkham, the tight end, lining up tight on the right. In motion, Gaffney. Give is to Crutchfield. And even though Crutchfield was hit almost immediately, he barrels his way down near the 10-yard line. There's a handful. Built relatively low to the ground at 5'11", maybe 6 feet, 235 pounds. Ooh, the Raiders pouring it on Atlanta 31-7.
The Atlanta Falcons were my pick to go to the Super Bowl in 1982. I thought their defense would measure up against anybody. Right again, Trumpy.
Not against the Raiders today. Todd will put it in the air from the 10-yard line. Oh! Almost a circus catch by Lamb Jones. Ray Claiborne had the coverage, number 26.
Tell you what, it appeared to me that Jerome Barkham was wide open on the other side of the field. But you see the athletic skills of Lamb Jones. And of course, Richard Todd trying to get it over the outstretched arms of Claiborne. That was close. So, well, what can I do?
Bruce Harper and Scott Durking are the backs right now, with 14:10 to play in the ball game. 17-7 Jets. 3rd and 6 from the 10-yard line of New England.
I'd look for Barkham.
Short drop, flip over the middle. Gaffney trying to get to the goal line. He's got the first down, but he can't get across. Gaffney, at just 182 pounds, proved to be a difficult man to bring down.
Last season, the New York Jets, this time after time after time with the Jerome Barkham. This year going back to somebody else. Gaffney runs a little crossing route right underneath the linebackers. Only about a 4-yard catch. Good job by Haynes to keep him out of the end zone.
Ball is spotted at the 1, and the Jets have 4 cracks to get it in from here. If they do, you have to be very skeptical about New England's ability to get back in the ballgame.
And very careful on the ensuing kickoff.
Ricky Smith has proven to be their entire offense. Freeman McNeil, touchdown Jets.
That was easy. That was entirely too easy. McNeil now 17 carries, 100 yards, and a TD.
You saw the time of possession at the end of the 3rd quarter. You saw the difference in the total yardage. An awesome advantage for the Jets, and watch the touchdown by McNeil once more. And this is the point at which announcers say, well, the New England defense has been on the field an awfully long time, and it's beginning to tell on them. But then someone at home asks themselves the question, well, the Jet offense has been on the field the same amount of time. Why does it wear on the defense and not the offense equally?
I think it's a simple answer. It takes more energy to react than to act. And you can have offensive linemen on the offside of the play who simply scramble block and get up and go back to the huddle. You got defensive linemen lying 40 yards away who still have to run to try to make the tackle. That's why the defense generally tires out and the offense doesn't. Make sense to you?
I'll buy it.
You're easily convinced.
Have I ever disagreed with you, Trump, that you can recall?
Not yet this year.
It's early. Leahy's point after makes it New York 24 and New England 7. There's McNeil with better than 100 yards, and now he's tacked on a touchdown. One more look at it as we head into these messages with 13 minutes and 17 seconds to play in the ball game, and the Jets on their way to their first win of the year. Ricky Smith is waiting back near the goal line. If they can keep it away from him, the Jets have to be pretty confident about keeping New England off the scoreboard at this juncture. Booming kick by Leahy, and despite his earlier success, Smith decides that the touchback is the best decision as we check in with NFL 82 in New York.
This is Len Berman, NFL 82 in New York. It's the day of the halfback option. Marcus Allen has done it for the Raiders. Now Chuck Muncie throwing a touchdown pass, 17 yards to Wes Chandler. The Chargers close to within 16-9. Now back to Bob Costas.
All right, thank you, Lenny. Freeman McNeil, who scored the last touchdown for the Jets, has back-to-back 100-yard games in the first 2 outings of the 1982 season. The first time a Jet has done that since Clark Gaines in 1976. Tony Collins carrying on first down. 3, maybe 4, and widespread disapproval in Foxborough.
Highly suspect, very, very conservative in their approach. 8 plays, 72 yards, 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Capped off by Freeman McNeil's 1-yard run.
Leahy has a 30-yard field goal. Todd an 8-yard scoring run. Augustiniak a 6-yard scoring run. McNeil just scored from the 1. And a 98-yard kick return for a touchdown for Ricky Smith for the Patriots, and that accounts for the scoring. 24-7. 12.5 minutes to play in the game. Next week, the Pats are home against Seattle. The Jets go on the road to Baltimore.
My goodness.
Collins again, and we don't need to tell you how the Patriot fans feel about it.
You know, I don't believe Don Hasselbeck has had a ball thrown his direction yet today. Somebody is down. Joe Klecko.
It's Klecko, and he's holding his knee. We'll have a report for you as soon as possible, but we're coming back right after this. Learn about Joe Klecko and Trump. The replay will show you why. It's pretty graphic.
Yeah, it's hard to find a play that shows an injury more distinctly than this. Don Hasselbeck on the block. That's Holloway coming out. And watch his right leg right at the end of this play. Right?
It's the left leg, but...
Excuse me, yeah. You see that? My goodness gracious. That's got a smart. And there are lots of people out there on the field looking at Joe Klecko now. You can imagine their concern. Pro Bowler last year. The NFL's Defensive Player of the Year. In fact, by one, I think it was Sports Illustrated that named him the Player of the Year. 20.5 sacks. And he does it in the era of the finesse sacker without the use of the head slap. And I got news for you. I got friends that played in the NFL in my generation whose ears are still ringing from head slaps that they got 12 years ago. And I know at least one tight end who suffers from that malady too.
Is that an exaggeration, or is that for real? Do you occasionally still feel it up there like the sound in a seashell?
Well, I've lost 25% hearing in one ear, and part of it is from a head slap, and part of it is from getting hit on the jaw one time. It's truth.
Here's what's coming up next week if they play football. On NFL 82, Glenn Berman and company will get you updated on everything that's going on a half hour before the kickoffs. And these are the early games: Miami, Green Bay, Denver and the Saints, Buffalo, Houston, and Seattle here against the Patriots. And they're bringing a stretcher out right now.
You know, Bob, I talked to Walt Michaels prior to the game, and he said, I don't like to play here. He said, it's not that I fear the New England Patriots, but this is a very hard surface, and we always seem to have a devastating injury up here. Well, this injury to Joe Klecko has got to hurt a great deal.
We mentioned it earlier, but for those who may just be joining us, the last time the Jets came in here, they came out with a victory, 17-6, and it appears that they'll come out with a win today, up 24-7 with 12-17 remaining. But they had plenty of guys banged up the last time. Todd a broken rib, Ryan a sprained ankle, Augustiniak a punctured lung after breaking a rib, Bobby Jackson a broken arm, which knocked him out from many games, in fact, for the rest of the regular season. And here Klecko appears to be seriously hurt.
Bob, if I can ask the truck to go back to the injury, it's his right leg. We thought it was his left leg, didn't we?
Well, it was his left leg that got crunched, at least it appeared to be.
Yeah, we may have seen the wrong injury, but they're looking at his right leg, as you can see.
You're right, Trump.
Well, whatever it is, that's bad news.
On the replay, it was the left leg that Hasselbeck fell across and seemingly bent backwards.
Yes.
As soon as possible, we'll get an official report on Klecko's condition. In the meantime, a look back at the scoring. After a Leahy field goal of 30 yards had given the Jets a 3-0 lead in the second quarter. Here's Todd. He tucks it in and he makes it to the corner. And after the point after, it was 10-0 New York. That's the way it stood at halftime.
Augustiniak up through the middle. Great job of blocking by the New York Jets offensive line.
And at that point, it was 17-0 as they helped Klecko off.
The world's largest cherub.
But not feeling especially effervescent right now. It's 3rd down and 8 from the 22-yard line. Scoring plays you didn't see. Ricky Smith took a kick 98 yards for a touchdown for New England. Freeman McNeil a 1-yard run for the Jets. Kavanaugh is sacked once again. The Pats will have to punt. And another look at that play on which Klecko was hurt.
All right, it's his right leg. Let's watch this closely. I think at that point right there, he snaps either his ankle or his knee, his right leg, from the pressure of Brian Holloway. I don't believe Don Hasselbeck rolling over him had anything to do with it.
You're right. Although the Hasselbeck contact was the most obvious, the damage was already done before Hasselbeck arrived. And you might say that it's fortunate that he didn't injure both legs, because the way Hasselbeck hit his left leg and the way it was bent over, that's the sort of thing which more often than not will lead to a serious injury. Camarillo to kick. Harper to field it with a fair catch at the Jet 40. There's a flag down on the play after a 47-yard punt by Camarillo, who's averaging nearly 50 yards a kick this afternoon.
One of the good rules in the NFL nowadays, Bob, is that all stadia must have X-ray equipment, personal foul clipping against the New York Jets. They must have X-ray equipment at the stadium. They will know very, very quickly the extent of Joe Klecko's injury. And it appears they're taking him straight to the X-ray room. And of course, if they're looking for X-ray, that means broken bones.
Clipping number 29 of the receivers, 1st and 10.
Johnny Lynn clipping on the play. The ball goes back to the 25-yard line.
You can see that certainly puts a damper on the attitude of the New York Jets with Klecko hurt, leading 24-7.
Point lead and plenty of anxiety about the condition of Joe Klecko. The right knee, we know that for sure. The extent of the injury, we're still awaiting word on.
Already missing Marty Lyons from that starting lineup, out with a fractured thumb.
Crutchfield and McNeil are the running backs. Freeman McNeil adding to his total, which already has surpassed 100 yards, out to the 30-yard line, picking up 5 on first down. And the Foxborough faithful are not so faithful at this point.
This is a beautiful day in New England. This is the one that they write poems about, have movies about. They're going to find something.
Get home quickly and start the barbecue.
You're right. Find something a little more pleasurable to watch, even if it's just leaves dropping off the trees.
Inside 11 minutes remaining in the game. Jets by 17. Lamb Jones makes the catch and takes off across the 40-yard line to the 42.
Well, this is one of the first times this, as they call it, slip pass has worked to Lamb Jones with great speed. You see the fake off the line, then the offensive line comes out in front of him, catches the ball. You want to try to go up underneath that first block, get to the inside, and then back out to the outside. 12 yards on the reception, first down.
Derek Gaffney now comes in. Lamb Jones out, at least briefly.
And Cincinnati now leads Pittsburgh 20-17, I believe, in the fourth quarter.
Exactly 10 minutes remaining in this one. Short drop by Todd. A bullet to the sideline, caught by Barkham, his tight end. If I'm not mistaken, that's Barkham's first reception of the game, isn't it? No, it's his second. 2 catches for Barkham. Now Dallas pulls away from the Cardinals in St. Louis, 21-7.
Wearing their blue jerseys, too, I might add.
The Cardinals always make them do that, which Dallas supposedly doesn't like to do. But those maneuvers can't make up for a big gap in talent. Cowboys up by 2 touchdowns. Good numbers for Todd. Most of it piled up here in the second half.
Well,
Neal has the first down.
Excuse me, Bob, if you're a New England Patriot fan or coach or member of management, I suppose last week's victory over the Baltimore Colts, you had mixed emotions. Obviously you won, but how good are the Baltimore Colts? Today, I'm not sure that the New England Patriots are as well and as on their way to recovery as everyone expected or thought after last week. They have been totally dominated. The Jets 349 yards, and I think it's safe to say the Patriots less than 100 total offense.
From the 47-yard line of New England, Todd will put it in the air with the 17-point lead. He's got his completion to McNeil, and McNeil dances inside the 40 to the 38.
The
total yards.
Exact numbers. 349 for the Jets, 73 for the Patriots. And that's about as dominating as you can be. You know what I like about McNeil? Watch the way he slips a tackle here. I think you're going to see 57. Oh, that's why soon. Watch the way he slips that tackle. Boy, that's a talent that you can't coach.
They get 9 on the play, leaving them with 2nd and 1. Clock running, 8.5 left. Crutchfield and McNeil in the backfield. Jones in motion. McNeil, first down.
Handoff to McNeil.